sucks. Okay. So I get this guy ready to go. Oh, shit. Of course I like shuffle it right at the last moment. I think I need to dust them with mold release. What is going on? Why is my stream not up? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. I think I gotta dust this with mold release one more time. Because I had to handle it a bunch yesterday. Hey, Jocelyn. Indeed. It's a new year and starting late as usual in the new year, so we're gonna keep that trend going, I guess. Alright. So, I know we don't want to take this thing out, but it's not. I'm afraid it probably doesn't have enough release on it, so I'm just going to dust it real quick. No. No way. I know me better than that. I need something to prop this thing up on. Whatever, I'll just use that. Alright, so I guess while that's drying, I gotta figure out if I got enough silicone for this. I feel like I don't. I gotta combine some bottles together. I've got like a couple half-empty ones. There's probably enough in there. So I'm gonna try to combine a couple of these first, because I've got like 2 other bottles that are mostly empty. God damn it, get the fuck out of my way. Hope there's another bead. Hey, what's up, Sabertooth? I'm just, I gotta combine a couple, like, mostly empty bottles here before I can really do anything else. So I haven't had time to do this stuff, like, off the cam. Down to like my last mold for this set, so once I get this done I can actually start like casting stuff, which will be cool. It's been a long time between my summer release and trying to get this one together. Oh, Sabertooth, you may have seen it on Instagram because I posted it earlier today. But turns out I had some CA accelerator already. I had like a bottle of Zip Kicker. So I've been using that. It's been pretty awesome. I didn't realize it was like just a general CA accelerator. I thought it was like product specific. But it being like a generic one is cool because then I don't have to go buy another one. Yeah. So that was cool because I was like, I had it in the cart and I was like, wait a minute, let me go look at this other stuff. And it turned out, you know, so that was like a happy accident, I guess. But if you hadn't mentioned it, like, I probably wouldn't even have looked at it or thought about it. So, you know, another like helpful tip there. I also bought some yellow epoxy, or Apoxie Sculpt, because like the black was cool, but it was kind of tough to see like details when I would be sculpting and stuff, so I needed something that was like a little bit brighter. And so far I like it, the yellow, that is. I'm still learning how to use the Apoxie Sculpt in general, so. Oh my god, dude, so much easier. I was like, how was I doing this before without this? I mean, I was doing it very slowly, apparently. So, and like, I had tried using wire mesh on those like boots and stuff before, and then it kept breaking off. So I realized like, oh, if I super glue this on, that I can like use that as a scaffold for the Apoxie Sculpt. So that's been working well. I did it last night a little bit when I was trying to get all this stuff like prepped for today. Alright, I guess this guy's pretty well empty. Yeah, it's the same stuff, just a different color. It's like this brighter yellow. Just so like I can, because the black is like, it's so dark that it absorbs all the light. So then it's like kind of hard to see where like the ridges and stuff are when you're sculpting. So I was gonna try to like tough it out, and my partner, she was like, just buy another batch of it. She's like, it's only $20, like it's worth it if it's gonna make it easier. So I did that. And yeah, it was totally worth it already. Now if I could just find an accelerator for the Apoxie Sculpt, that'd be great. I feel like I'm getting close to a point where I should be buying this stuff in like larger quantities. But that like $200 price tag scares me off. I'm like, oh, I'll just get this $20 one, it'll be fine. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna buy 3 of those. So I guess it adds up eventually. Yeah, this head here, this guy, is like a totally like original sculpt, so it's I'm trying to see like how good or bad I actually am at sculpting it, so it's like kind of fun and scary. I mean, it's looking okay so far for like a generic head. Oh yeah, it's a good idea. I hadn't thought about trying to use like heat to accelerate it. I have a little toaster oven up here, so I could try tossing it in there at like a low temp, see if it helps speed it up some. Probably should have mixed this stuff before I tried to scoop it out. I think it's separated a little bit. Oh, that's a good idea. I guess it'd be less destructive than just like dry heat. Oh man, yeah, the stuff definitely separated. I should have mixed it up first. So that's gonna be fun. But in other news regarding my copyright violation I got on YouTube, where they blocked my one video, so like I just edited out the stuff that was like the problem, and then the other day I used the Borderlands, all the Borderlands scores from the games as like the music, and I was like, and Captain Warlord was like, oh, that's risky, which yeah, but I had read somewhere that they apparently like don't care, they just don't, they're against like you monetizing off the music, but then like I uploaded it to YouTube, and it said there were no copyright issues at all, so I guess that's good. Alright, that's good. I'm gonna have to stir that up. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. It's not like that convenient for me to boil it because I don't have like a space to do that. I would have to take it downstairs and find like a kitchen pot. I guess I have a pot I could use, but you know, I gotta use like the kitchen stove, and I don't know if I want to mix like, I know it's not really mixing anything because you're only boiling it for, you know, a few seconds or whatever. Yeah, that's true. Well, supposedly there's like streaming the game is still counts as like a public display, so it like can fall under copyright restriction to even like show the game. But that seems like it's also works in the opposite interest of like the game developer, because you know it's like attention to the game and people getting to see it played. So, but if they're gonna look the other way, then I guess it's just gonna be mostly Borderlands stuff until I get bored with it, which might be never. So, just a warning. Yeah, I have a pot I got years ago for boiling figures to like disassemble them. So I do have that. I don't have the ladle though, so I'd have to get that. I mean, I've got like tongs and stuff I can use. Alright, so this one is a sloppy mess, but it's good. And these two are empty. Alright, now I'm just going to combine these other ones. Sorry for making this part of the stream, but I've only got so much time, you know, so. I did end up using those beads yesterday to measure the volume, and it did work. It was a little tricky getting them out of the mold or out of the box or whatever because of like the static electricity came back, but whatever. So I think I got a fairly accurate estimate of how much silicone I'm going to need. So how were your guys' New Year's Eves? I assume we all just stayed home. That's what we did. Hey, what's up, Cap? I'm just combining some bottles together here so that I can make this last mold half. That sucks about your dog there, Dacitus. Was it, I assume, was like fireworks and stuff setting him off? Oh, that's awesome. That's a great way to spend New Year's, Sabretooth. I assume the food was great. I should use like this bigger one. This thing is filthy. Shit. Yeah, I ended up, I had like kind of a surprise Zoom call with like some of my, this group of designer friends I made when I lived in Indianapolis. And like I haven't talked to all of them together like in like 10 years. So that was really awesome. It's a really good way to like end the year. Shit. Yeah, this one was too big. Oh man, that sounds great. Yeah, we just had a pretty chill like night at home. Alright, I guess this thing's actually a little too big for that bottle. I thought like an all silicone one would be better, but I guess not. Doesn't really get like the sides very well. No, go for it, Cap. Yeah, I don't have any experience streaming on YouTube yet. But yeah, I mean, if you're unhappy with Twitch, then definitely like go for it. It's like, you know, it's not going to cost you anything to switch over, so it's like, what's the harm in trying it, you know? You could always do both, depending on like how much time you've got. Just see which one you like better after like a few weeks of doing it. That way you're not like, you know, totally dropping your Twitch until you're like ready. It's probably just a numbers thing, honestly. I mean, like, I report like trolls on Facebook and stuff, and nothing usually happens. There was like an ad for like a hunting store, like supplies, like camouflage and, you know, bow hunting and all that shit. And someone in the comments was like, "Oh, do you sell urban camouflage?" And it, you know, the inference being so they could hunt people in cities because they're probably some Trump supporting asshole. But I don't expect anything to like come from it. Yeah, the whole like ads thing, I don't know. Like, I don't if I ever get to a point where I like am eligible for that stuff, like affiliate, if it's optional, like I'm not gonna do it. Because I don't want to like mess up kind of the theme of like, oh, we're just here to hang out, you know? Yeah, my experience with Twitch is still pretty limited, so I don't know too much about like the politics of their operations. Because like I haven't really experienced anything negative yet. I'm sure it'll happen eventually. And yeah, if it feels too shitty, then I guess like YouTube would be the next best option. I mean, the rules enforcement thing is probably true with any platform. I mean, like, look how much disinformation has been, like, rampant on other platforms, and, like, no one's really doing anything about it. So, like, it's weird because, like, from Twitch's point of view, right, like, maybe they know about these accounts. They might look the other way if they're, like, getting enough viewers, or those people are, like, buying subscriptions or whatever. Like, if it's generating money indirectly, then they're gonna, like, let it slide more often, because they're still, like, getting a lot of eyeballs on their platform, and that's what they care about. So, like, I don't know, I'd probably suggest, like, you know, report the stuff if you want, and then just, like, forget about it. Because, like, if you report it, like, you're doing what you can, right? But, like, outside of that, you don't have any control over how they enforce it. So, you could be like, hey, I brought this to your attention, and now it's on you to, like, do something about it. And if you don't, then I guess you don't actually care about this as much as you said, or whatever. But, like, I don't know, like, you've only got so much time and patience and brain space, you know, so, like, at some point, you kind of have to just, like, ignore it and just focus on the stuff you're doing and let them worry about it. Because, like, I don't know, there's only so much, like, it benefits you to, like, be concerned about, you know, the rules enforcement on their platform. So, I don't know. Because we're all just, like, subject to the whims of, you know, big tech, I guess. I mean, if you, like, ignore the politics part of it and just try to, like, have fun with it, that's probably all you can really do. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, like, just recording your gameplay and just putting it on YouTube as, like, a VOD, you know? Yeah. Like Sabretooth just said, like, just do what you want, you know? If you just want to show stuff off, then make that and put it on YouTube and forget about it. Because, like, you could use Twitch's tools to, like, capture your video and then, like, download that or whatever, and then do your edits and what have you, and then just upload that to YouTube. Like, I'm doing it the way I'm doing it because it's convenient. Like, I don't download my videos because I don't want to download, like, multi-gigabyte videos and have to, like, re-encode them and edit them and shit. I don't want to do that. I just want to, like, dump it straight to YouTube. If there was some, like, intermediary editing suite I could use, like some online tool where I could, like, upload it to that, edit it, whatever, and then export it to YouTube, I would do that and try to make shorter videos. But, like, I'm not going to download the video and edit it and do all that shit on my local machine. I want to do it all in the cloud. I'm just not going to edit it at all. Because, like, for me, it's just about, like, minimum effort, you know, for, like, what I can get out of it. Because I'm not necessarily trying to have, like, a big channel. This is just something to help me and for you guys to get some enjoyment out of. So, like, once it starts being, like, difficult, I'll probably just, like, scrap it. That was fine. I just stayed in with my partner. It sounds like the other guys did. It sounds like Sabretooth probably had the most fun of all of us. I think tonight we're just gonna, like, we're gonna play video games and hang out at home, maybe watch a movie. So, more of the same, basically. With, like, you know, the inability to really go anywhere. Granted, there were, like, numerous parties in our 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 neighborhood last night, which was kind of annoying. Not because they're having parties, but like because they're doing it, you know, while the COVID is still like everywhere. Just seemed irresponsible. That's about par for the course for Arizona. Yeah, they were going here pretty much most of the night. Our neighbor was like having a dance party by himself in his backyard, blasting club music, so there was that. I think we eventually got to sleep around 2. Alright, I'm gonna mix these things up and pour out the amounts, which should be, the beads told me 260 mLs roughly, so I'll probably, what is that, 130? So I'll do that and just have some scrap silicone off to the side, so that if it's like, if that's a little low, I've got some stuff I can offset it with. Yeah, I like, oh my god. That's crazy, Sabretooth. Yeah, at least nobody was hurt, though. That's the important part. Shit, did I put this in here wet? No, there's just like gunk all over the top. Okay. That's cool. I'm just trying to prep this stuff. I wanted to have this done yesterday, but I just didn't have time. That like surprise Zoom call was like cool because I hadn't talked to those guys in forever, and like when we all like worked together, it was like probably one of the better times of my life. So that was nice. They're also doing a bit better than me, so it was like a little stressful afterward. I kind of like came down into this like weird mental space for a while. But it's got to be happy for your friends if they're doing well. Alright, so I need one that'll handle 130. So this one will do 130. I need a bigger one. Do that one. So these two, and then we'll mix it in something bigger. Oh, man. Need better ventilation. These mineral spirits are no joke. I can feel the slight headache starting. Alright, so let's see, this needs wiped out. Yeah, yesterday was like a cool talk with these guys. We talked about like, and you can kind of relate to some of this Sabretooth. We talked about like, our one buddy, Philmon. He's this dude who came over from Eritrea. So he's like more religious. So that's like a big component of like the stuff that he does. But he's kind of he's really leveraging like LinkedIn of all places and reaching out to the Eritrean community, trying to offer like coding and like tech tutorials and stuff with catering to like people in that language group. 30 is like right about here. Yeah, that's true, Sabretooth. It's good to like remember not to judge yourself too harshly on like what others are doing, because you know they've got different factors and stuff in their lives. But we were talking about my other buddy Tyler. He's like this amazing designer, and he has been kind of lamenting like the demonization of like the generalist and how it's like considered bad to be a generalist now, when that's like, I'm definitely a generalist. And like I could relate because I experienced a lot of difficulty. I've basically been unable to find a job in the last like 6 years because I didn't have like, you know, this like one specialty, and that kind of came about just from the erratic path my previous jobs had taken. So I like became pretty disenfranchised with like the design field in general. But you know, I had like other opportunities and successes, so I like learned different things and just kind of learned how to look past the stuff that's, you know, not didn't pan out or whatever, and try to focus on the things that like I have going. So it's tough to recap like the whole 2-hour conversation. It's just kind of moving organically. But it was good. It was a good chat. It'd be cool to do something like that in like the indie toys community, or like even like indie art. Kind of like these creative discussions with like different people's like thoughts and experiences and stuff. Because there are a lot of people out there, like I've noticed some of the followers I've gotten lately are new to, you know, resin casting, or they're like are doing customs or whatever, and they don't really know where to start. And I ran into a lot of that uncertainty early on, so it kind of forced me to figure out my own, you know, approach, which some people think is, you know, overkill, and you know, that's their opinion. But because like there was a time, I don't know if it's still as prominent, but a lot of these like resin toy makers and whatnot are like very secretive about how they make things, which I never really understood what they're trying to protect, because like every other like art form has you have people who are like adept. Sarah, you're saying the problem with being considered generalist is they expect you to work everyone's jobs for no pay. Yeah, I can definitely see that. It was like I was having trouble where I couldn't even get an interview. So it wasn't even so much like that they were trying to take advantage of me, like I couldn't even get in the door. I've had one interview since I moved to Phoenix, and it seemed good, and then, I don't know, I guess I said the wrong thing in an interview, which of course nobody tells you, because no one gives you any fucking feedback. you just have to like wonder what you said wrong or what you did wrong or who farted the wrong way, because you know companies are terrified of giving you any kind of information, which is infuriating. Because like you can't improve yourself as a candidate if nobody tells you like what they didn't have, or what like was like the wrong thing you said or whatever, what the mismatch was, because they're so afraid of getting sued. This fucking corporate bullshit is like infuriating. So I'd rather just like leave the field than deal with it anymore. Trying to not get this on everything, but also cleaning this out a little bit. Alright, well, that's going to be a toxic mess, so I'll just get rid of that. Actually, so I can try to clean this out a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of why I like just threw myself into this. Like my partner was like, I make enough money for both of us to like live, so just like stop looking for a job and just focus on that. So just I'm fortunate to have, you know, someone who's like willing to let me do that. Because if I was like the only one working and or trying to find a job, and yeah, it could have just gone a totally different way, where I'd be forced to stay in it. I mean, this may go nowhere and not be profitable and end up being a huge waste of money, but and time, but whatever. At least for now, I'm doing something that like I enjoy. This dye does not go far, and it goes really far in resin. Does not go far in silicone. Yeah, obviously it's not formulated for this, so little surprised that it doesn't go very far. Yeah, it was like we kind of made this arrangement like a long time ago that once, because I like supported her through grad school, and so once she like got her degree and you know landed a full-time gig, that I'd be able to take a break from working. And I mean, I'm still working. I'm just not working for like you know an employer in the traditional sense. So, but yeah, it definitely helps to have someone who can like take the reins for a while. And then she's like jealous of all her friends who like have bought houses and are you know stable, and we're still like in flux, and you know, we're renting, and she doesn't have a permanent job yet. So there were a lot of there was a lot of stress last night on our New Year's Eve. Well, I'm not stressed so much as like, I don't know. Well, I don't even know how to describe it. Like feelings of inadequacy, I guess. But like you said, Sabretooth, it's tough to like. It's not really fair to judge yourself against someone else because like there's just too many factors to compare. It's not, I mean, even though we shouldn't, you know, it's hard to not do that sometimes. Alright, I guess that's fine. So we'll set this in here. Try not to touch it too much, or we'll just knock it over and then it won't matter. Alright, I'm hoping this won't like leak. Pretty sure I sealed all the leaks on it. Alright, so I need my other one for 130. Yeah, it's hard, you know, to like remember to have that like separation and not judge yourself too harshly. Oh fuck, I was supposed to stir this. God damn it. Whatever, I'll just stir it in the fucking jar. We'll just hope it's mixed well enough. Alright. Yeah, it's tough. Like, my partner, her best friends are, you know, in different levels of personal accomplishment, I guess, than she is. So it's like, it's often this like feeling she gets when she's done talking to them, like after a day or whatever. And so I'm usually, you know, the one that's like, hey, don't judge yourself too harshly, and so then I turn around and do the same thing. So it's, you know, it's not like always easy to take your own advice either. I'm like, I'd like us to have a house too, so I could have a proper like workshop. I need like, I could really use like a wash tub and better ventilation, like permanent installed ventilation. That would be great. Alright, so yeah, we'll do this into the colored into the non-colored. Use this one. It's a little better for cleaning out these containers. Yeah, that's what we're in. We're in a rented condo. So I'm in like an upstairs bedroom. Fortunately, we're on the end, so we have a few extra windows than like the units in between, because they're the row houses. But yeah, it's like not an ideal space to do something like this. Because I mostly worry about, you know, spills and accidents like that, because I don't need to have to replace someone's carpet or whatever because I spilled, you know, dye or resin or whatever. I've only had like one space that had like a hard floor. Everything else has been carpeted, so then it's like I gotta be like extra careful. Fortunately, like our neighbor to our one side, he like has this really erratic schedule, and he's like often gone. Like he works nights, and sometimes he does like some security or something, kind of like on contract. So he's like gone at weird hours, and he tends to be up super late. So me like running the air compressor and things like that don't bother him, so that's at least good for us. Well, good for me anyway. I've been like hesitant to put on my respirator, even though I should be wearing it more often, because I know it like affects the volume of my voice and stuff, and I don't want to have to like scream either, or have like issues with like volume. At least this, the mineral spirits are kind of strong, but it's not like the worst. The resin, though, I'll definitely have to wear it. Stuff's just too toxic. Alright, so I'm gonna prime the air compressor. Okay. So this should all be good. I got a couple weird spots on this thing. There's like a cavity down in here I gotta fill, so I gotta watch that. It should really be the only like weird point for monitoring like the flow. So I'm gonna get some chunks of junk silicone ready just in case I need to add a bunch or a bit. I like missed the back side of this. That's good to know. Because I've like listened to some of the VODs and it's like a little muffled, but it seems like it's okay. So I'll do that in the future because I'm just about done with it for right now. But knowing that, I'll just put it on in the future and not hesitate. Yeah, I definitely won't after this. It's like I just kind of fell out of the habit, and I just realized like, hey, I should be doing that again. So just need to be more cognizant. I at least have like the fan going in the window nonstop, so I'm definitely like considering ventilation. All right, that should be good. Let's see how much more I need if I need it later. Okay, so I think everything's ready to go. Get my mixing stick. I definitely want to work on some glove molds in the future to try to reduce my consumption of silicone. I'll probably start with that with like some smaller parts. Just see how like where the troublesome issues are working with them. So I like this like self-contained mold where there's no like there are no seams to worry about as far as leakage. So I want to keep that going if I can. So I just gotta see how that's gonna work with a glove mold. It's awesome, Dacidus. I've been working on that for a while. We could do like a hangout or something one of these days, like an off day, and go over things. I definitely have some like drawings I need to work on. Stuff I've started for stickers and I haven't like touched them in a few weeks. Alright, that's probably good for that. You have anything about that stuff you want to share, Dacidus? Like some general thoughts or anything, or you just want to wait and kind of just close it all together? Try not to make a huge mess right now. Every time it creeps up over the blade, it's always kind of messy. Also need to get this like in here before the stuff starts to set. Alright, that'll just be good enough. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the afterlife is always a fun little like thing to mess with because you know it's so like open-ended. Oh shit. Trying to like fill this front. So I need to fill that divot cavity. Alright, now I can get in there. An idea about the world being discrete and concrete with linear time and dead outer world. Matter's hazy and time is non-linear. That's cool. That shit's always like fun to mess with. It's like, I like the idea of like planes that exist like in the same space. You know, we have like the concept of dark matter, and it's this like innocuous thing that we're like pretty sure is out there, but we don't know a lot about it. I gotta pour this a little faster. So I'll read that in a moment here. Ah, shit. It all like went down the front. It looks like it covered the mold, or the first half rather. All right, get this thing into the crate. Oh shit! There's like a bunch. It like shifted. Fuck. Come on, god damn it. Fuck me. Shit. God damn it. I guess I didn't leave enough space around the front and back. There's a huge air bubble there. God damn it. I'm running out of time. So I can just try to force that up. Okay. That should be good. As long as it's still liquid, it should be fine. This is a big fat mess. Alright, doesn't look like it's touching the sides at all, so... Okay. No, it's not you. It's me. I can just let that set. Now, as long as the surface, like where the silicone meets the parts and the other half of the mold, as long as that stuff's all like good, the outer stuff is like less important. I can fix all that stuff, so that's not like an issue. Yeah, I have to just figure out a way I can do that, because I've been using like a clay riser. But yeah, I definitely need some way to like be stuck down to the bottom. Because it does seem like it's lifting off sometimes. Like, this is the last mold from this batch. So that's, at least like this is all like done, and I can think about that in the future Sabertooth. Like, how do I stabilize the mold so it doesn't like drift. The other thing I was thinking about are like spacers, like something stuck to the sides that like hold hold the mold like away from the walls, so even if it does want to shift, it's got nowhere to go. Because then like those, I can just plug those up with like brush on silicone later on, so they're easy. They'd be easier to plug up. It's definitely something I've been thinking about after seeing it shift a few times. So I was thinking of designing some like little cubes or whatever that I can put in there. They're like the thickness that I want the outer wall to be, so that like I can kind of seat it in there and it like doesn't have anywhere to go because it's got pressure on all sides. So similar to what you're saying with tacking it down, but instead of like thinking about like it going up, just trying to prevent it from moving from side to side. Alright, I gotta wipe these things down. I think I was able to pull enough of the trapped air out that once it's under pressure, it should eliminate most of those bubbles. Now the question is it going to shift while it's in there? Once it's under pressure, is it going to shift? So I'll have to just see what happens and then, you know, gather data from that. Yeah, I definitely need to make these like spacer key things. I need something to keep it in place. So as far as tacking it to the bottom, I'm not really sure what I could use because it's like silicone, right? So like not a lot's going to want to stick to it. I could see maybe setting some kind of like peg into the top. I don't know, I have to think about how I could build that. This is like partially set, so I gotta like work a little harder to remove it. Or what's starting to set anyway. Alright, so what is it, 3:30? So then, say 45 minutes. So 4:15, I should be able to pull that out and see, check the damage. Actually, I gotta clean these two things out, and I'll just leave the big one to dry on its own, and then I'll just pull it out once it's set. Keep putting it like right where that stuff is setting. I'm definitely like learning every day as I do this. I feel like I'll never really be like done or like have it like 100% down, because I'm always going to be trying something else, trying like a different technique, or trying to like, you know, make the molds more complex, or the parts, well, the parts are more complex. inevitably. So I feel like I'm always going to be tweaking like how I make a mold until I get to a point where like I can just outsource it to a factory and not worry about it. But that's going to be a while. Those are good problems to have. When you're like, oh no, I have too many sales, I have to use a factory. I know some people are doing that. I mean, Killer Bootlegs, he uses the factory now, doesn't he? And probably has been for a while. I think there's a few others that are doing their stuff through a factory. I feel like you gotta have a pretty big fan base to do something like that. And then my buddy, one of my friends I was talking about earlier, Tyler, he's like, he's been trying to break out into his own thing for a while. So he's doing some stuff that's like print based. He's working on this. He has this habit tracker thing he designed, and it's like a dry erase. I'm not sure what it is, if it's vinyl or what, but you can like tack it onto like any flat surface. It just like static cling sticks, and it has like empty spots. You can like write the thing you're trying to track, and then like these spaces you can either dot in or like make a note on. And I do some of that already. We have like a couple dry erase things around the house. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way, Sabretooth, that like when you're going to a factory, like you're definitely making a compromise, right? Like you're choosing to shift away from the handmade aspect and focus more on the design aspect. It's like you hit a crossroads, right? You either like cap how much you're gonna, if you're gonna stay handmade, you're capped at like how much you can make and what you can sell them for. Because like if you need to like make a living on them to like, you know, support like a single person, that's a lot of stuff to sell. But I guess there's like other ways you can kind of supplement that with like different types of products or whatever. So that's going to be, I mean, that's nowhere near anything I have to think about at the moment. But I definitely can see the argument that it like lessens your the art that goes into it, because you're not like actually like hand making them anymore. Alright, I think this stuff is, these two are good. That one's gotta sit for a while. I'm gonna take a break from that. Mineral spirits. Okay. So that's just all good for now. Just gotta wait for that to cure. I was gonna be like, oh, I'll do a little sculpting, and then I took my gloves off because I'll need to put those back on for that anyway. So I've got these guys here I was working on yesterday. These things are kind of a hodgepodge because I'm still figuring out how much I actually know about sculpting and how good I am at it. I guess I've got other pairs of gloves I can put on. A jar of beads. So this guy, I'm trying to get this guy to like a place where I'm happy with it. It's just like a generic head, but it's better than the first one I made, which is like that weird this thing. Let me get one of these guys down. Then like this thing. So I'm trying to take that and make it into something a little more normal looking. Or humanoid, I guess. And so this, I glued on some of the screen yesterday, and then I used the Apoxie Sculpt to like fill it in, and definitely is better than, like, these are just all Apoxie Sculpt, so they're like, it's working, but it's a lot slower, and it's kind of hard to like shape it as you go. Actually, let me see what the clearance is on these feet right now. Oh, that's the wrong one. So that's like how they're looking right now. So like, not bad. I mean, it doesn't turn as well because I actually still got to grind some of this stuff out of here. Because it like wants to pull out of the joint. It's also a little loose right now. Hey, hey! God damn it! Get out of here! Goddamn cat! Attack of the happy cat. Yeah, that was a real, what's up, Bone Splinters? That was a real, unexpected moment there. Happy New Year, man. How's it going? How was your New Year's? Alright, this guy, I gotta build this up somewhat. So, like, actually, I gotta find that other hand he stole. What are you doing with that? Well, either I'm blind or that hand is gone. Thanks, Happy. You little jerk. Oh. There it is. I found it. Alright, so these things are like... the thicknesses are very different. Actually, these are the new ones. So I can do a little bit of sculpting. These are the gloves I just had on. Okay. Can't always tell. So how was your New Year's, Bone Splinters? Do anything? I assume you just stayed home. It sounds like that's what most of us did. Alright, so I'll mix up a little Apoxie Sculpt. So saber-tooth, this stuff is like pretty bright. Zoom dance party, that's great. You need to be in here, Happy? Yeah, we just stayed in. Watched TV basically. So it's, you know, like every other night. I'm trying to build up some more of this, the cuff on this hand. So I got that ready. I need some mesh. Yeah, it's pretty bright, but that's what I like about it versus the black stuff I was using. Had this mesh for like years, planning to use it for something, and I'm finally starting to use it. I used it a little bit on like Krampus guy, but I haven't used it much lately. So I go in small pieces. Yeah. And I should have a little container here for the zip kicker. Yeah, here it is. So this is what I have for the CA accelerator. And I just apply it with a toothpick. Where's my file at? There it is. And then just like lay this stuff on here. Get it to like stick just enough. Can't tell if it's actually on there or not. Alright, usually I can just like touch it to it and it's enough. Yeah, it's like pretty well on there. Try to like bend it a little bit closer to the shape that I want. And some pliers here. Try to like curve it a little bit. Still gotta test fit this a little bit. So it like clears up. Oh fuck, did it just come off? Yeah. So I have to re-glue this. Like pulled away from the Apoxie Sculpt. Where's that? Stupid rubber gloves. Can't like grab onto things sometimes. Okay, so that's on there. Shit. Fucking water on my glasses or something. Okay. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this stuff. Just kind of smush it in. Hi, Happy. Have you not done enough? You're gonna come up here and terrorize my workspace? He's literally trying to bite me and mash his face into my hand at the same time. So this stuff will like fill the space. I'm starting to like get a better handle on this stuff. It's like it supports its own weight, but using like a lattice or something seems to help. As I mean, that's like duh if you're doing any kind of sculpting, really. You need some kind of armature. And he's back. Don't touch anything. Oh yeah, he's an incredibly needy cat. He like comes in the morning and he like stands outside the bedroom and like meows very loudly, like he's the saddest cat you've ever seen in your life. So then you get up and open the door and then he runs in and then the other cat runs in and they chase each other all over the furniture and all over you, and I'm like, why did I let you in here? So that's always it's always fun morning adventures with Happy. I feel like I'm going to be very bad at sculpting for a while. Like, I get why lots of people just like make bootleg stuff, because sculpting is not easy. Especially if you want something of like a decent quality. I definitely need more practice, so. But I want to like try to do more original stuff, or at least like stuff that I've like sculpted some part of it. So I just gotta force myself to do it. Of course. Probably should have started with something a little simpler. I didn't think water would be quite as effective as it is with this stuff. I guess I assumed it was probably some kind of petroleum-based thing, and that's why. So I started with the petroleum jelly, thinking it would be better for it, but the water seems to work fine. Trying to fill the sides of this face in and figure out how the jaw's gonna look, or the mouth is gonna look. Sculpting stuff this small is like also not the easiest thing in the world. One, two, three, four. Got one more in here somewhere. Yeah, I guess this guy is okay. So I was working on this a little bit yesterday. I think if you like wet the surface first, It helps a little bit. Or not. You gotta wet the fingers. Yeah. Something seems like it's going to be easy because you're like, yeah, I know what I want to make. And then you go to try to make it, and you're like, wait, this doesn't look anything like I wanted it to. Yeah, sure. Thanks for hanging out, Sabretooth. As always. Hope you have a good weekend. So I guess I just fill in like the side here. I also didn't use like a reference for this thing, so I don't exactly know what it's going to look like. Don't put it in the accelerant. Alright, see you later, man. Happy's discovered the birds in the tree outside the window. He's very interested. So put some scritches in here to try to help it stick. So you're gonna put a little water on here. Just put some on the table. It's a little easier to pick it up off like these little puddles. Trying to pull it back into this cavity. I might have to just add more. Yeah. Just gotta add a little bit more. So like back here behind the by the like jaw. This is definitely like a new experience, sculpting like full parts. Like another light in here. Can probably use a little bit more on that other side. Fill in this like side of the cheek. I guess it's more like the front of the cheek. Oh yeah, he totally helps with the camera. He's like, let me knock that on the floor for you. Is that cool? Got it? Yeah, this is a little loose on this side. This guy's so many colors, I feel like I should like prime it at some point just to see what the general contour is. Yeah, Happy's my staff photographer. I was gonna say cat, I guess. Actually, this like there's like a bigger dip here in the side of his brow. Or man, it's not his brow. I don't know what the anatomical term for that is. It's not the zygomatic, right? That's like your cheek, essentially. I forget what the zygomatic is. I knew one of these anthropology nerds would jump in here and answer it for me. Thanks, Tacitus. Yeah, I need to build this up more. What I really need are some like good references for like the side of the face. It's probably too much. Break that off. I get why like professional toy sculptors sculpted everything bigger and then like laser scanned it down, or however they scaled it before laser scanners. Like I'm going to be doing this like very small amounts at a time. Try to like control the shape. Sounds like a dip in the side of his face. Right there. I can see the appeal of like 3D sculpting too, where like you can make it symmetric. But then like if you take a person's face and you make it symmetric, it looks weird. Because if I learned anything from my partner's dissertation, it's that everyone's face is a little asymmetric. You know, like, I sculpted this bottom lip and I haven't figured out how I'm going to do the top lip yet. So I'm kind of like avoiding that for now. I gotta do the ears. I guess I gotta smooth all this stuff out too. So I guess I'll do that with some of the stuff that's left. Because soon this stuff will start being a little too rigid, and it won't be too easy to like spread around. I can tell my partner I talked about her dissertation on the stream today. I don't know how she'll feel about that. She'll be like, "What did you say?" Just that it was all over my head. That's what. So it's 4. I can take that mold out here once I use up all this leftover clay. So I want to put like I want to make like I'm trying to figure out how I can make like hair and helmets and stuff that like snap on. So I have to get like one good like basic head that I can kind of model stuff off of. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this guy. Let's have like a starting point. So I'm trying to smooth out all the like bumps and stuff and get like the general face on there. There's a big chunk right there that's very rough. Hey Fluffy, Happy New Year. How's it going? How was your New Year's Eve? Mine was pretty chill. We just hung out at home. Yeah, it was good. I mean, there was like fireworks in the neighborhood. But we mostly just like hung in. Which that seems to be the default for like holidays this year, is like, well, we were just like home drinking cocktails and hanging out. Which I mean is fine. I ain't gonna complain about drinking cocktails at home. Alright, this guy is looking okay-ish. Like a little bump on his head right there, but I can just smooth that out later. It's a little bit of roughness here on the side. Try to smooth that out. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I had one drink in the afternoon when I was working on some of this stuff, and then I had one at like midnight, and that was like it. My partner, on the other hand, she was a bit more liberal with the cocktails, but she was like, I did a lot today, I'm allowed. She like repotted some plants and did some other stuff and cleaned the kitchen and worked on her job applications. So she was like, I'm allowed to have 4 cocktails today. I just like kind of got distracted with stuff I was working on. I like made that drink in the afternoon and it just like sat on my desk for like 2 hours. That was like engrossed in some of the stuff I was doing. Looks alright. We'll put him aside for now. Yeah. Yeah, she's been pretty on edge lately. She's getting ready to like apply for some jobs So she's got to like write all these documents. She's got to write like a teaching statement and a research statement and like all these things and like this very specific like cover letter for the university. So it's like all this like prep work she's got to do for like every job. So she was like, I need a break. I'm taking a break today. But she did like a bunch of stuff yesterday, and so we took it kind of easy in the evening. I think we're gonna do the same tonight. I think we're just gonna like, we're like slowly watching the Star Wars movies again, cause like she's like, I think I've seen these like once, cause we finished Mandalorian, and she was like, I wanna watch like everything else. So we've been doing that. We just got through the first 2 episodes. Shit. So I think we're gonna watch. But I think tonight we're gonna watch. There's this horror movie. I guess it's a horror movie. I don't know. On Netflix, it's called like They Never Die or something, and it's some kind of like it's got Bill Murray and shit, someone else that I forget. And it's some kind of like zombie movie. So I think we're gonna watch that. Alright. I should use this on something. Can I glue another piece on here? I don't think that's gonna work. You're gonna cut that thing down. Oh well, I guess I'm just gonna scrap that little bit. Okay, so then this guy is gonna go here. Well, he's actually dry, so that's probably fine. Let me see. There's like stray silicone up here I gotta clean up. Oh, whoops. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize the light was in the way. I should probably have that view up so I can actually see it. Alright, that looks better. Yeah, when I'm doing those, like, that small sculpting, I tend to, like, pull the light down so that I can see it better. I wasn't thinking about, like, is it, like, blocking the camera, but now I, like, know to keep that in mind in the future. Alright, I'm gonna pull this mold and see how it looks. Sorry about that. Well, let's take a look at this mess. Well, it looks like there's like decent space around the outside, so it should be okay. It's weird, I'm like getting to the point where like I'm not done with molding, but I've got like a lot of the stuff done that I've been wanting to get done. So then I have to think about like, okay, well, what am I gonna make now? Because now it's like I gotta start actually sculpting stuff. So you know, I got these little bits going here, and I feel like the boot feet are like okay, but they're not like that great. I'm gonna keep working on them and trying to improve them, but they're definitely not like my best work. So I want to do, I gotta do some like body stuff. Like I want to do some like accessories, like armor and whatnot. So I gotta start thinking about how I'm gonna do that. Like, I'll probably sculpt it on top of something, like a body, a torso, but then I gotta figure out, like, what am I sculpting it from, because I gotta be able to, like, take it off. So I might have to do, like, a clay base or something, and then build on top of that. I'm not really sure. I've got, like, kind of a, not a killer headache, but I mean, it's definitely there. I don't think it's from last night, because I didn't really drink much at all. Well, I had one, like, very boozy drink late at night, so I guess it could be that. Not having, like, an adequate amount of water. It's starting to get a little dull. I mean, it's already dull, but I don't know, dull in a different way, I guess. There's definitely no, like, shortage of challenges doing this stuff. I have all these, like, grand plans, but I feel like the plans and my skills are gonna be on a collision course. It's gonna be real ugly. But practice makes I was gonna say improvisation, but that's not right. Practice makes improvement, I guess. It's gonna be fun having like different little projects going at the same time, like these different sculpts, and I'm gonna do the like body accessories, like I mentioned, and then I gotta do like weapons and stuff. So there's definitely like plenty of things to keep me busy. I want to do like some female figures this year. So that's going to be like a challenge in itself. So I was saying on the last stream that I gotta like, there's not really like a female figure that I think is like a good starting point, because like the ones from the Masters line are, they've got like weird proportions and they're like much smaller, so I don't particularly like them. I'll probably draw parts from them though, so I think I'm gonna have to do like a Frankenstein of different lines to create like a good base figure. A lot of work to do in 2021. Alright, man. Thanks for hanging out, Cap. We'll catch you next time. I think that's probably good. I forgot to do this side. Yeah, I'm trying to keep the chatter up, you know. Sometimes I'm like, kind of, my mind goes to like the thing I'm doing, so it's not always giving me something to like, you know, kind of chat about. Especially when I'm, you know, doing little stuff like this or the sculpting. So I'm trying to keep it in mind and have like something to chat about if the thing I'm doing is like not particularly interesting. Okay. See, I was a little worried that the bottom was going to have... I knew some was going to come under here, so I'm just going to have some I got to trim off, probably. This wall is pretty thin. Yeah. It's like super thin right here. So I'm going to have to fix that. Well, it's not torn, so that's good. All I have to do is reinforce the outside. Hopefully it doesn't tear while I'm like separating the mold. Let's see. So we'll just cut this real slow like. I knew this was going to be like this because I didn't fully like seal the bottom, but that's fine. It was like a minimal amount of leakage or whatever. Yeah, so I got that piece to pull off. I guess I'll trim this before I go and separate the halves. So what you been up to, Fluffy? It's been a little bit since you've been on. That game invite is still open whenever you are ready. I'm trying to like get a regular group together. So I've got like a couple of guys here in Buffalo or in Phoenix. I got a couple people in Buffalo. Dacitus lives with a guy who's like from my local group, so I'm trying to get him into playing remote. Alright, get rid of all this crap. That's right, this is the weird one. It's got like the half back wall. Let's see if I can pull this thing out of here without breaking it. Oh, I didn't even do the whole front side. Nice. Yeah, so I need to reinforce this outside a little bit. It's a little thin in these areas here. Too much shifting. But overall, it looks okay. I'm really curious about these pegs, because there's like, I have like pegs I built in here, and I'm really like curious if this resin or the silicone bonded well enough. Yeah, it's pretty exciting, Dacitus. I was like kind of worried it was gonna rip, but like it didn't. So like all I gotta do is put a little bit of brush on the outside, and that'll like reinforce the walls. So like pretty floppy. Once I put some of that rebound on, the teal stuff, it'll be pretty solid. All right, so let's see. I gotta cut these things out of here. These reservoirs. So I'll just cut like around here. And these two pieces are kind of close together, so I'm going to try to keep some kind of separation there. Might have to build something back up. So I'm going to keep a barrier between those two. Alright, that's good. I just need to separate that. That's good. And then this one's like a little deeper, so I gotta cut in. Yeah, sure, man. I'll be here. It is nice being able to like see the thing you're trying to cut around. Definitely makes it easier than just guessing. So I'll just remove this one side and then just work my way left. Yeah, okay. And then I gotta cut this guy out, or at least cut an opening for it. And I try to keep these a little smaller than, I'm gonna use like a syringe to inject this. So I try to keep this like upper opening a little smaller than like the nozzle, because then it provides like a better seal when I'm actually doing the injecting, and it reduces like it, you know, leaking out of the top or whatever. Okay, yep. So that's good. Alright, so then I just gotta remove these things. So this stuff's gonna break when I pull it out, but that's fine. A little coffee refreshment. Alright, so I think I need to clip these posts. I got pushed way back into the drawer. Alright. Yeah, so those are just going to break right off. And then, please don't rip. Okay, good. It did rip a little bit. Fuck. That's fine. May have made these a little too snug. I probably should have exposed. I think I have to put a cut down through here to remove this. So do like a zigzag cut to help the pieces lock back together. And then I'll just have to work this down to actually go around here. I have to come down to that, to like this side here, so I can, actually I'll just use this. It's more dull, but it's a little easier to control. Maybe I should go up. So if this comes around like to this wall, okay, so then we'll cut this down, and we want to intersect these cuts. So I'll just pull it like slowly toward the side and hook it around. And then, okay, so then this needs to go down and over, over. Yeah. And then we'll just cut like kind of at an angle here. Okay. I mean, that's fine, having to expose that, because it'll make removing the part easier without really compromising the mold at all. And like, because this is contained in this part here, it's not going to like leak or anything. And this I can just push, and actually I can just pull it down. It's probably easier than trying to push it up. Just need that's fine. Do the same thing here. We'll just push this out. I think this one hooks around. It's going to be a little more difficult to remove. No, probably not. Yeah. So that comes out. Pull that out of there. That little tear shouldn't really affect anything. No, I'll have to do the same thing here. I'm going to have to cut through the wall. I had thought it would be easier to do it this way, but the way I designed the top here, it like doesn't leave enough room to reach the fin to cut around to snap that off. So this is like a small compromise, because it like goes back together easy enough. And then once I put it in the mold, it'll be basically sealed all around. So I'm going to come down here, like around like this. So there's that zigzag cut. And then we'll bring this in and then turn it toward here. So bring that through, bring this around. Hook it down through here. You can actually just bring this cut here, and then cut it across. And that's it, that's exposed. So then that's right, there's a second piece back there. I'm just going to break that off the top. Because on the actual part, I'm just going to cut it and snap it off. So it's a non-issue there. There's a little bit of straggler silicone that got pulled into some cracks. Now it's tearing a little bit there. I guess I can actually cut another section out of this. That lip could be a little bit of an issue trying to pull a part out, and if this is just like open on the top, it'll be a little easier. So I could use a little bit of trimming. And then I can pull this thing out. It's like little flecks of Apoxie Sculpt left over. Alright. This bulk is a little thick right here, but it's fine. So this should all fit back together fairly well. And then these are held closed just by the mold itself. Yeah, I could cut that piece off. So there's still a little bit of a lip here. I'm just going to use this one because it's sharper. Alright, now actually I can clip this off here. being able to make like edits helps, because you can, it's like you can always cut pieces out and make cuts, but once you like make the mold, I mean, you can't like add parts in. So I've been trying to think about that way and design it in a way that I can, you know, like these, I can make these access cuts if I need to, and it doesn't really, so I can actually cut back into here too to make this bigger. Double check before I do that. Yeah, so I can cut this through to give myself a little bit more access, and it doesn't affect the part at all. Just gotta be careful here, it doesn't cut down into the leg. Where are my tweezers? You know, these pegs are made from the rebound, so it's like a little harder of a silicone. But in a previous mold I had like air bubbles in here, so they were like a little problematic. But this way there's no bubbles, so I don't have any like trimming to do there. Like in the future, probably use like a softer brush on. There is a softer version of this. This is 37 or 40, and I think there's a 20 or a 15. So it gives you the same brush on quality, but it's a much softer. This is a 20, so it's like much squishier. So they have like different benefits depending on like your use case. All right, so that's pretty solid. Put this scrap into the scrap bucket or bag. The big pieces, I don't need the small ones. They're not worth keeping. I've got some. Oops. Hopefully that wasn't too ear piercing. My workspace is very cluttered. This piece I've been meaning to salvage down. It's like this film I can't do anything with. This bottom chunk I could use for something. So I've been trying to like reduce waste in general, and then when I can't, I try to like think about what could I use this for, like could I repurpose, because it's like it's better for like everything really, you know, the environment and like your budget. Using your materials more wisely is always good. Alright, I need a bag for this. I want to do some casting. So let's see, our complete figure consists of how many molds? So this is the upper legs. I actually forget what these are. I think they're oh, this is the pelvis, okay. So these two are the pelvis. I think this is arms. No, these are the original arms. So this is like a 15, so it's much like softer. I think these are all test molds. This is a head, so I'm going to add that to this. These are, well, they're not test molds, they're to make base parts. So let's see. So this is a head. I'm gonna have to put little cards in here so I remember what these things even are. This is feet. Well, the regular like boot feet. Oh, this is the Y part. Forgot it's got these pegs in it. This is one I could have designed a little better, because like getting these pegs to fit in place is a little tricky. But it looks like they go into place, so I guess it eventually works. So these are other. Let's see, what's this? So this is one I repaired. So I'll be doing this mold, adding a bit of a reinforced wall. So this is an upper arm. This has got all this dust in here I gotta clean out. I think I was like sanding or something when I was I had this sitting on the desk. This one's got like a little bit of a fit issue, but it's still, they do like fit together pretty well. So it's kind of nice that like they self-align. This has got a thin wall too that could stand to be all these bubbles. This is like before I realized I could pressurize the silicone. This is hands. I could probably put like some of these more related molds together. And then these are torsos. So this is a complete figure. So it's a lot of molds to make one figure. It's a lot of work making these, and there's been a lot like learned along the way. And I feel like it's been successful. So the next part is to start casting from these molds and see how much better the production like flow is compared to the first batch of molds, which did work but had like a lot of their own frustrations. So this is a lot of work just to get to this point. So with all that done, it's a matter of, you know, creating new things. So I've got some projects that I have in progress. I had a torso that I was working on. I have a lot of parts that I'm working with. I'm looking for one specific torso that I had started. I was working on one that has a reduced like muscularity, because I want to have like alternatives to the like super buff base torso. I've got a massive headache right now. I really need that one part, this torso, because it's like, I have the halves glued and I'm trying to get it ready to remold. Well, it's not around, so let's see. I guess I could do some casting. I haven't cast anything in quite a while, because I was doing test casts of each of these parts as I completed the mold, and then I stopped doing that because like the mold made, if it like the first few were successful, so I felt like confident enough in the technique that I was using to make them that if these worked, then the later ones should also work. So I kind of sidelined doing a test cast in between. So, alright, so I did torso test casts. I'm trying to think what test casts I have so far. So these are all test casts. All these light colored parts. That's not from this set. I think this is where I stopped. Yeah, so I did these test casts, and they all came out pretty nice. So I stopped there. Now, some of these parts need to be done in a softer resin. So I think I'll do that. I'll do, so these legs that we just made, those are a soft resin. And the upper arms, because they are the peg sockets, so they need to be a little bit softer so they can flex a bit. So I just need to locate. Alright, this is a pelvis, that's not those. It might be these guys, or these, because I can cast them both at the same time. Oh, this is the pelvis again, or the Y part. This thing is definitely not the easiest to put back together. So this is an area where I would definitely improve. If I remade this mold, I would think more about the sink of those pegs. Like, this works because at least I can stretch it, and it will, like, once they find the right, like, insertions, it, like, they pull themselves together. So that's at least like an upside there. That's why this is all like a learning process. I'm like learning stuff as I go, but this is hands. And there's a feet. Okay. So that one's not what we want. Well, this is the only one that's left that's not a torso. So one of these is the arms. Okay, so this is the arms, but this needs to be cleaned out because of all this weird dust. If I can get by without doing the mold itself, because the inner part seems okay. It's really this outer part that's got all this dust on it. Silicone's great at picking up dust. Surprised there isn't like a dust towel or something, like a shimmy or a chamois that's like got a silicone component, because it's a really good dust magnet. Like this flap, I wouldn't do this again. It definitely fits together better as like a V type shape. This dust is insane. I don't know where this came from. Well, I guess I do, but it's like, I'm annoyed that it even happened. It's also why I keep them in the bags, to like reduce how much dust collects on them. So I don't want to have to clean them like every time I want to use them. I must have cast these once already, because there's like what looks like resin residue in here. I just probably don't remember doing that. Maybe I'm like, it's like ambient sleep eating. I'm like sleep casting. Whatever, that's gonna have to just be good enough. Alright, so I'm gonna dust these with mold release, and then while they're drying, I'll get the resin mixed up and ready. Alright, respirator's going on this time. Okay. So I'm going to spray these with mold release to help the resin like release from the mold. Okay. So we'll let these guys dry off to the side. So based on like math from my first run of figures, these parts take upper arms are around 10 mLs for 1. Upper legs are around 12. So that's what, 40, 44 roughly. So then half of that is going to be 22. So 60D is the stuff we're going to use. This is a semi-rigid resin. So 60 is the what's called the shore hardness. It's like how much, it's a scale of like how much pressure is required to like push into a substance by a certain amount. So like the higher the number, the harder it is, and the lower the number, the softer it is. So that accounts too for the silicone. So like the low numbers
are, you know, it's softer and etc. So, let's see, I need to figure out how much I need. So it's 44. We'll round that up to 50 because I'm not really sure how much excess. These are old numbers. I don't have numbers for these molds yet. So we're going to do 25 in one, 25 in the other. Prep the air pressure, air compressor. Okay, so I'm going to draw some of this. I'm going to use syringes for this, so I'm going to like have to measure the amounts. Okay. So, pressure tank's ready to go. Let's draw some of this. That's right, I used them. Cut the holes in it. So I get easier to pour. So I might actually be able to just pour this out instead of, it's like the larger quantities, I can just pour it out. So I guess we'll do that. We'll just pour it. It'll be a little easier. A little less mess to clean up. So 25. 25. Let's see. This one's a little bigger, and we're going to mix dye in, so I like to have a little extra stirring space. So much like the silicone, doing like a high thin pour helps to pull some of the air from the liquid. Okay, that's good. Because you're trying to keep the air to a minimum. Because these materials and air don't really get along. Alright, and then I use 99 or 91% alcohol as a solvent for this stuff, instead of the mineral spirits. And much like the silicone, you can see that the excess, like, it sinks to the bottom over time. So there's actually a lot in there. I need to pour this off and transfer the container. I'm just going to use a little bit of orange dye. This is like my go-to test color. It's the only like one I have in a large amount. Actually, I need to put white in this first because it's semi-transparent. Well, it's translucent. When it's thin enough, it is transparent. And adding the white, makes it opaque. Okay, now I'll add a small amount of orange. It's probably too much, but It's a test cast, who cares? Now, like, if you want, since this is just a pigment, it doesn't matter if it's like mixed equal, like, thoroughly. If you could like leave it streaked in there if you wanted to. I want a consistent color though. So I'll just have this dreamsicle orange color. What's the cure time on this? 5 minutes, 30 minutes. So I might be able to pull these out before I end the stream. It's kind of pretty close. I tend to leave them in longer. These parts are pretty thick though, so it's probably safe to pull them after 30 minutes. But if you cast thin parts, it can take much longer for it to set up. Even though on the container it says it'll say a certain time, I found sometimes it takes like 24 hours. Some of these part A's, they tend to like, once they're exposed to air, they will start to like cure. So I found these, this one's really on there. I found these channel lock pliers to be really helpful. Hopefully this stuff's not like shot. That's definitely possible. Oh no, it just bonded the fucking cardboard piece to the top. Shit. Alright. Yeah, they tell you to use this stuff as soon as you can. So this stuff I got over the summer. And clearly has been sitting too long. And this is why you don't want to breathe it in, because it'll crystallize in your lungs. Very nasty stuff. I even like clean these lids when I put them back together, and it's still like gonna bond to itself. Alright, so I'm just gonna cut this thing off because I need to reduce the surface area that it can bond to. Basically, when you see a resin like this, you need to use it as soon as possible. Because it's not gonna... The longer you let it sit, the worse that gets. Man, I haven't seen it this bad in a while. Yep, I don't want to drop it in there, but I just did. This is also why I need a workshop, because I don't want this stuff getting into my cat's paws and I'm like licking their paws and ingesting it. Shit, this stuff is really... Yeah, Smooth On markets this stuff as like for artists, but it's pretty dangerous. Okay, so that's done. This lid's a hot mess. Whatever. I guess I'll just pry it open next time. I see it. It won't even close fully. There it goes. Okay, so that's out of the way. Prime the tank. Let's see. That one's full. I use this container here. This is my delivery syringe. And where's my, this is my stir. Alright, so static electricity on this shit is no joke. Alright, so there's that. So that's ready to go. Let me clean this off real quick. Yeah, when I like open a container and see like silicone or resin that's been sitting there for like a couple of months untouched and it's crystallized, I always ask myself if I really want to be working with this stuff or not. But good ventilation is important. Safety precautions is important. Alright, so I'm going to mix these together. Actually, I almost like made a huge goof right there. So these guys are probably dry enough, so I'm going to put these together. And this should key together. So we'll push that guy in there. We'll wiggle this guy down into here. Try to keep that from scrunching up. And try to make sure it's like in place. Alright, I guess that's, no, that's right, this guy's like uneven. So these should be good. I'm gonna start with the legs, and then I'll do the arms. So just in case I run out, I'll at least get one set of a thing. And as far as like that crystallization on stored resin, it's almost always, from what I've seen, the part A, the yellow container. So whatever like is the chemical that reacts to create the solidifying action definitely lives in the part A. So sometimes I'll catch myself like mixing the part B, the blue container, like without a mask on or whatever, or a respirator. And then I'm like, that's probably okay, even though you should still definitely wear a respirator. And like eye protection, even if you're only wearing glasses, like definitely wear something. Like you can use alcohol to dissolve this stuff in liquid form, but you still don't want to be putting isopropyl alcohol in your eyes. Because water does literal nothing. All water will do is cause it to crystallize faster. Alright, so this doesn't have measurements on it anymore, but I know 50 is like the maximum that I've got. Get this air bubble out of here. Alright, so fingers crossed. Slow and steady pressure. Actually, I need to draw more out of this. The legs definitely use more than the upper arms do. They're just bigger parts. Okay. See if I can draw all this. There's a lot of air trapped in there. Let's see if I can get both of these. This might be a little thin, or there might not be enough. And that's why it's a test. Now we get the beginning of one. Oh, just barely. So I'm going to try to scrape the rest of this into here. Into the reservoir. Just so there's enough for it to like pull it down. Because once it you compress the air, it's gonna try to pull the resin down from the top. Alright, these should be, this one could be a little thin. Thin's the wrong word. Incomplete is a better word. I think they'll be okay. Alright, so I'm going to drop these guys in a pressure tank. Okay, so I'm going to try to scrape out whatever's left. The less of this I have to dissolve in alcohol, the better. Alright, now I gotta clean this out. Alright, so where's my... I could probably let this harden in here, but I find it gets a little too difficult to remove. So I find it's easier to just clean it out now while it's still liquid, or liquid adjacent. Have a towel to like wipe the gunk on. Yeah, that side works a lot better. This stuff gets stubborn really fast. Resin is much messier. Oh shit. Yeah, I usually want to do this thing first and not the container. But I haven't cast in a while, so it's... I like forgot. A lot of this is on the outside. I didn't have a fresh towel. I'm very like out of practice here. This needs to be dried out. mostly okay. Alright, that towel is trash. You can see I use my towels to death. Alright, those two need to be cleaned. This needs cleaned again. So I take fresh alcohol and squirt it in here. And I try to scrub out the top with this. So again, I'm trying to get as much life out of my tools as possible. And that means trying to take care of them. Like, I'll eventually have to replace these. They'll just be too corroded to use anymore. But I can definitely get a lot of life out of them if I take care of them. Shit. I use a less polluted container. Ugh, this thing's a mess. It's got like as long as you keep this stuff in a liquid form, you can clean it off. Once it starts to cure, like once it hardens, you might be able to like chip it off. But well, it's a liquid is the best time. So every time I cast, there's a lot of like immediate cleaning that needs to be done. This is acetone, which evaporates even faster than the alcohol. I didn't get to this soon enough. There's like a thin film on the walls of this container now. Which I probably can't actually get removed now. Alright. I gotta clean these too. The ABs are much easier to clean. I mean the A stuff like still like wants to gel. It takes much longer when it's just by itself. You can see it's like all these little white particles. It's like reacting to the alcohol. It's almost like an emulsifier. It like causes it to like harden, and then it like sinks to the bottom of the jar. I kind of wish these measurements were on the outside of the container and not on the inside. Shit. This is another reason why I really need a workshop. Not a fucking apartment bedroom. No matter how careful you are, accidents are gonna happen. Garbage. Okay. Alright, that stuff's as clean as it's gonna get. Alright. Okay. Let's see. Put this back in here. Okay. Well, it's 10 till 6. I don't think there's anything I can really do right now. Yeah, there's not much I can do. I guess, let's see, what state are these guys in? It's looking better. Let's see. So I've got like a lot of in progress stuff here. I'm gonna see what I can work with. I do have like quite the headache today, so I'm considering
ending soon here anyhow. Keep those guys separate. So we've got stuff in the tank. It's gonna stay in there for probably another half hour at least. So let's start a bin for all the parts we've cast. Yeah, I gotta locate a couple of parts. So I have something new I can work on Monday. I want to work on a chest piece, like a front armor. So I have like a clothing accessory to go with these guys, because that's definitely an area they're lacking. Yeah, so I think next thing I'll be working on accessories and alternative parts. So that's going to be the sculpting tasks coming up. So I'll continue this head I've got on the side here. I've got another one in my parts bin in front of me here. And so I'm going to start working on clothing accessories and like weapons and stuff, in addition to alternate body parts like new hands and feet and heads. So that'll be hands, feet, heads, clothing accessories, weapon accessories. So those are the add-ons that are going to be coming in the near future as far as like projects. And then while that's going on, I'll be casting during each session to start finish test casting the stuff that I've got so far, and then I'll be starting casts of like colored parts to start building out wave 2 of Neo Brutes. So I'm gonna call it here and say thanks for watching, and I'll see you on Monday.